In the Dark. Written by Connor Cooper. Part 11. Princess, he just bolted in there without a word. Are you sure? Yes, ma'am. I'm pretty sure, but why?
Damn it!
Salem, you all stay here. But Princess... That is an order, Captain. Luna flew down the metal halls of this strange object, her wings with her horn's magical light guiding her way forward. The entire place was pitch black to the point if she weren't using her illumination spell, she wouldn't be able to see her hands right in front of her face. Trying not to run into something, she lightly hovered off the ground, but at a much faster pace than running. Suddenly, she stopped flapping her wings at a bright red cloth lying on the floor. Not folding her wings, she looked down at the cloth before moving forward to see if it was a robe attached to something, or someone. The moment she saw the skull that she knew didn't belong to any species natural to Equus, her heart sank. Not wasting another moment, her wings were fully out, and she bolted forward this time like a crossbow bolt. Speeding through the long corridor, the sound of something beyond her spell's range, Luna didn't know what was laying in wait before her, but she didn't stop. All that she knew was that Salem needed a friend. At least she hoped he saw her as one. Stopping at the doorway at the end of the hall, Luna walked forward. Her spell was barely helping in the pitch black around her. That was until she recognized the red glow of Salem's helm. Salem?
They're dead, Princess. All of them.
Salem spoke his words heavy with sorrow, while he rested his hands on top of a metal chair that held the skeletal remains of what was once a living human. Luna walked forward. It had been many years since she had seen this much death before. Salem, are you all right?
Physically? Yes.
And mentally?
I don't know.
Salem spoke, letting the chair go. Head down, Salem took a breath, but the way he did, Luna could tell he was crying only moments before. For what it is worth, Salem, I'm sorry. Luna approached in a soft, hushed voice.
What for? You didn't kill them,
Salem pointed out. I know, but...
Princess, please, don't. Please don't pity me.
Salem held his faceplate while Luna noticed his arm be pressed against his body. Stopping her illumination spell, she cast the same spell she did on the Canterlot Express that allowed her to see Milo. Sure enough, the SCP was holding Salem's side in an attempt to comfort him. Walking to his other side, Luna reached a hand to Salem's shoulder, but stopped herself, not wanting to get the wrong idea and thinking that she was pitying him. Her gaze turned to the skeletons of the dead. How did they get here?
I don't know.
Salem's voice began to return to normal behind his helmet. Upon looking at the skeleton arm at his feet, Salem took another deep breath.
From what I guess, this is an arc for humanity's survival. But something happened.
How did they die? Luna asked.
They've been dead too long. It's impossible to tell.
Salem turned to one of the crews resting on the strange metal devices that had a large black screen with buttons and dials. Pulling the dead back, Salem looked at what Luna first thought looked like a metal monocle, but in reality, the monocle was actually the eye of a skeleton. Are they like you?
No. Or rather, I'm not like them.
Salem silently apologized to the corpse before removing the device embedded in its eye socket.
These guys were members of a religion known as the Church of the Broken God.
Sounds grim.
Actually, from what I found out, they were not as bad as that name might have you believe. They believed in progress, innovation, and improvement.
Salem looked at the large metal eye before opening it.
What they also believed was through replacing their body parts with cybernetics.
Like that? Luna pointed to the metal eye. Salem nodded.
From what I understand from the Foundation records, the main body of the church was on decently good terms with the Foundation. But there were splinter cults that were, well, not as kind as their fellows,
Salem explained. And were these part of those splinter cults?
No. The ARC project was a Foundation project.
Salem stopped inspecting the device for a moment.
Guess the two were on even better terms after the son's betrayal.
From what you told me, I think those two groups put differences aside for the greater good. Luna couldn't help but a small smile come to her face. That is what amazes me about your species. Ponies would have it all out for themselves in such an event, but humans would start seeing eye to eye when it comes to survival. Salem slowly looked at her.
Princess, our two races are quite alike. More than you would like to believe.
Salem spoke grimly. She stood there silently for a moment and felt a tug on her wing. Her attention swapped over to Milo, who was moving her hands about. Milo, I don't understand, Luna whispered.
Damn it all!
Salem cried in anger and threw the metal eye across the room before moving between the two.
What was I expecting? Even if it would work, the files would be long corrupted.
Milo pointed at Salem before chattering her mouth as if to speak. This time Luna understood. Help him. Nodding, Luna with Milo turned to him. Salem, Luna asked, causing the chimera to grunt slightly. Perhaps this isn't all there is to this. For what I'm seeing from your world, something must have survived that could give you some form of closure.
Like what?
Whatever we can find, Luna answered with hope in her voice, causing Salem to look at her before turning to Milo, who was signing to him.
I can't argue with the two of you.
Salem took another long breath and then looked towards a double large metal door at the back of the room.
We'll start from there.
Salem could feel the blood in his veins go cold at the sight of every skeleton that he came across, while the three looked for any answers. Yet all they found were bones of the countless dead. Salem didn't feel right seeing all of them like this. It was like walking into a forgotten tomb. This craft was to be the survivors' salvation and became their damnation. It was their final resting place and has been for a long time. Best finish looking through its glorified crypt and leave the dead to rest. Salem, Milo, and even Luna knew places of mass death were never good places to be. Who knows what else lurks here among the lifeless? Best not to find out. Salem, how big were these arcs? Luna asked.
Nearly 2 miles long, but they were to hold over 1,000 people. But... This one from my echo scans is missing over half its body,
Salem replied coldly.
If I were to guess, they crashed here many years ago, and something happened.
How is that possible? Surely any evidence would have been found of such remains. Why now? Luna asked.
That is the question,
Salem responded before stopping. This got attention of the Night Princess, who turned to see Salem looking at one of the doorways that had been open. What is it? Salem didn't answer while he moved forward to the doorway. Luna shifted towards where Milo was, yet she too was gone. Slightly hesitant, Luna followed after Salem, shivering slightly at the sudden drop in temperature. Luna shivered. Even for her, this was very cold, to the point where it felt almost unnatural. Looking through the darkness, Luna stopped in her tracks at bodies that littered the room. But unlike the corpses, some of these skeletons didn't wear red cloaks. Rather, the bodies had clothes that looked like Dr. Lab's coats. Reaching down at the faded name tag on one of the skeletons, Luna looked at the almost ruined picture of a human male with a pair of glasses and red hair. Bentley McCoy, head researcher in paranormal technologies. This symbol, it's not like the one from before. Looking at the seal, Luna turned to the other bodies, seeing the same symbol on their name tags. Looking back up, Luna's gaze widened. Salem knelt down in the middle of the room with the 4 lifeless bodies, in suits of armor similar to his own, but damaged and were in complete disrepair. Walking over hesitantly to Salem, walking to his side, Luna took a step back at another body that laid on the floor in front of Salem, and this one had to be the strongest. At first, she thought it was some sort of oversized bug creature, but seeing he had 2 arms and 2 legs, she assumed this was another strange soldier from Earth. She was half right, to say the least.
Okdohai, Elixi,
Salem whispered to the bug-like corpse. It didn't take a genius to notice Salem recognized the corpse. Did you know this being? Luna asked.
Personally? No. But I read his file and theirs.
Salem pointed to the 4 dead armored bodies.
Well, only the parts that administer clearance can get me. The Foundation did love their secrets.
Who were they?
My predecessors.
Salem answered, causing the Night Princess to tilt her head.
The process that I did to myself utilized these four as the base template and resource material.
What do you mean by that?
They are my cousins in a genetically twisted way.
Salem responded while holding up his right hand, noticing a triangular object resting in his palm. What is that? Watching him pull the object from the bug creature's dead exoskeleton, the three stared down at the object.
A black box.
What box? Luna raised her brow at what Salem had said.
Think of it as a recording device for the entire arc.
Salem spoke. This time his somber tone seemed to be slightly lifted. Is it a good thing? Luna asked, picking up on the change in Salem's emotions.
It is.
Salem wondered. What is the matter?
It's nothing.
Salem glanced behind him for a moment, then back to the princess, noticing her holding her arms.
Cold, princess?
Unlike you, I lack proper apparel to handle this cold. Luna spoke, noticing her faint visible breath. Not to speak ill of the dead, Salem, but I shall head out of this place. The night god might be starting to worry.
I understand, princess. I'll be out in a moment. Give me a second to make sure I didn't leave anything behind.
Salem told the princess, who nodded and walked out of the room. While Luna turned the corner, Salem stood silently while Milo appeared in front of him, while staring at something behind Salem with her knife drawn, but Salem held out his hand.
No.
Not turning towards the figure, Salem spoke in a low voice to make sure Luna didn't overhear him speak.
I know you're there.
His words lightly echoed as the room temperature dropped even more, while a large silhouette appeared in the hole that was in the back wall.
Thank you for this. And not harming her.
Salem thanked the being that lurked in the back of the room far away from Salem's sharp eyes. The thing groaned to Chimera, who gave a nod.
I understand this is your place, and that you want to be alone.
The Terran spoke in a hushed tone.
I'll make sure to keep it that way for you.
Not saying a word, the thing lowered itself back into the hole, while unseen limbs slithered across the floor away from Salem and Milo. Taking this action as his answer, Salem walked away from the unknown entity, while not daring to turn to look behind him to see at the thing. Watching the Chimera leave, the thing gave a low groan. The creature spoke in a drowned voice to itself, before shuffling away into a dark hole in the wall. Creepy unknown monster. What a way to end it. That aside though, I would like to get around to ripping the band-aid off, I guess. I will be putting this series on pause for a little while. I would like to catch up with my other ones first, and I would just like to more catch up with everything. Like I said before in previous videos, I really hate leaving series for so long. I just never have the motivation, as of late, to just push on. Note though, I will not be leaving this series. This is just on a small hiatus. Hopefully hopefully the author can get some edits on the next few chapters, because there's just a few issues with spelling and grammar, etc, etc. Small issues, but ones that do help with reading. That aside though, I would like to thank my wonderful Patreons. Thank you my Tier 1 Patreons Squall, Windfeather, Joan de La Paz, Starlight Blaze, Rainflicker, and Dreamless Portal. My Tier 2 Patreons Chase Lemaster, Sword Brother and Mordred, Nocturne, Solus, R.D. Bryant, Captain Blueshadow, Danish Dash, HKH4 aka Texture, and The Animated Ghost. And of course a large thank you to Silent Titan. I appreciate your guys' support so much and it means a ton to me. This has been Firehearth. Have a wonderful day.